If there's one thing Philadelphia is going to do, it's going to show up for the marginalized people, for oppressed people, for the most vulnerable people. Because we are bound to each other in our struggle for freedom. We know that better than most here in Philadelphia, right? Come on, come on.
Today we have about 26 organizations coming together as part of a national event to raise awareness to the Democratic Party, to make sure that they understand our vote matters, our vote counts, and if they want it, we need an embargo. Enough killing of civilians and justifying it, we need an embargo. We need action.
I am here today to demand an arms embargo from Vice President Kamala Harris as she runs for president, and if she expects Philadelphia to show up and fight and defend our democracy like we continuously do, we will be expecting more in 2024. An arms embargo now.
It's been really clear based on polling that a ceasefire in Israel-Palestine and an arms embargo on Israel is an incredibly popular democratic position. And I want to see that happen, and the diverse coalition of Jewish, Palestinian American, Arab American groups that are progressive groups that are out here today are all calling for that in unison. I hope that the Democratic Party hears that message loud and clear.
We need more than a ceasefire. We are calling for an arms embargo. We've been asking for a ceasefire for months. It hasn't happened yet. It's time to just cut off the supply of weapons. We've been sending billions of dollars of weapons to Israel that's been being bombed, dropped down on Gaza for months now. The best way to end this is to stop sending bombs, stop enabling this catastrophe that is killed 40,000 Palestinians. Israelis are terrified of a larger regional war breaking out. It's not good for anybody.
And I'm here in the city hall supporting all my indigenous Palestinian people that are struggling since 1948 with this occupation, apartheid, and genocide. And my question or my request for the politicians is to stop this genocide.
And you all know why we're here, okay? Or do you? Everybody know why we're here? Can we talk a little bit about why we're here? Why we know we're in the right place? Because for the past 10 and a half months, nearly 11 months, we are rounding a corner to a year of genocide in Gaza. A genocidal retaliation from the occupying state of Israel in Palestine. We've seen hundreds of thousands of people killed. We can't keep the death toll accurate because everyone who's been counting the numbers and remembering the names of the dead have been killed in Gaza. Every hospital has been destroyed in Gaza, right? Schools have been bombed. There are no universities left in Gaza, right? Our beloved and the infrastructure, the vital life-saving infrastructure that is necessary to support them has been destroyed. The first cases of polio are being documented in children in Gaza after their drinking water has been contaminated. Every imaginable resource has either been destroyed or exploited in the interest of annihilating the Palestinian people. Shame. Shame. And as unfathomable and incontrovertible war crimes rage in Gaza, being leveraged by Israel, we know that our taxpayer dollars, the money that should be spent here in Philadelphia, on our schools, that should be spent here in Philadelphia, protecting our immigrant communities, that should be spent here in Philadelphia, on our public services, on our hospitals, on taking care of Philly's needs, are being extracted and stolen from us, even as we have protested for the last 10 months, for the last several decades, right? And being volleyed in the form of 2,000-pound dummy bombs manufactured here at the innocent people of Palestine. Shame. And this is not our first rodeo together. This is nothing new. We have been out here organizing in these streets since October. For almost as long as this second Nakba has been happening, has been ongoing in Palestine, we've been showing up in the defense of not only the Palestinian people, but all people, recognizing that the violence being leveraged there can be expected here, can be expected anywhere in the world, as long as we allow the genocide to continue in Gaza. No one is safe. No one is safe from that violence. And the foreign policy that we perpetuate in Palestine is eventual domestic policy. Some of that's already happening. I know some of my comrades here remember the same tear gas and the same tanks and the same brutality rolling down 52nd Street and confronting us on 76 in 2020 and before that. We say bombing children is a crime. What about the 1985? What about in May when the Mood family's children were bombed? The precedent is here. These are the same machinations of empire, the same machinations of violence, and we know that is the right thing to do, to move forward together as a community of struggle, but also like a nation that's dedicated to peace and liberty and freedom, is to stop the genocide in Gaza, to demand an arms embargo now. Not another dime of American taxpayer dollars can be sent to aid and abet and contribute to that genocide. So that's the baseline. And as we close and refine the aperture a little bit, the reason why we're here is because we know that the Democratic National Convention is convening tomorrow in Chicago, right? The movement of the people in these streets, the unprecedented movement in the interest of freeing Gaza. People have come out for the first time, people have come out for the 50th time, for the 500th time to protect Gaza. But we have seen the pressure and the power of the people oust Joe Biden from his bid for re-election. This movement can take credit for that, right? Because we said if there is no ceasefire, if there is no arms embargo, there can be no vote. People of conscience know we cannot continue to support the infrastructure of violence that this current administration has been exacting against the Palestinian people, right? So as we said goodbye, Joe Biden, everybody said hello, Kamala Harris. Right? So here she is. Kamala Harris is the presumed vice presidential nominee. The Democratic National Convention is happening. It's about to be happening in Chicago right now, right? And we need Kamala Harris and her administration to understand that the same pressure, the same power, the same dedication, the same principle, the same unrestricted support and love and fierce loyalty we have to the Palestinian cause is still front and center for us, right? That the power of the uncommitted movement, that the pledge for no ceasefire, no vote, has only grown in its momentum. We won't be distracted by bots on the internet trying to pit black and brown people against each other, okay? And we won't be convinced when lip service is the only thing that has been committed to people in the United States so far. We need more. And we won't tolerate it when actually we are interrupted. I'm speaking. When we are interrupted, demanding what we are owed from our elected officials ahead of the most important election in their time, right? They need us, okay? And the power of the people is incontrovertible, unquestionable, unstoppable. So everywhere across the country, right? Everywhere across the country today, people are showing up in the streets in Chicago. They're showing up in New York. They're showing up in LA. They're showing up in Seattle. They're showing up in Milwaukee. They're showing up in Dallas. They're showing up in Austin. They're showing up in Miami. They're showing up in LA. They're all over the country. We're showing up to say, if it's not an arms embargo, we can't read all of that. Not another bomb can be dropped on our beloveds in Palestine. And the way that Democrats can win this election, is if they get in line with the reality of the needs of their constituents and all of the people who have mobilized and organized decade over decade to get people out to vote. And there's nowhere else that knows better because Philly held it down in 2020, didn't we? In November, we'll remember. And we'll talk all about that, but I know many of you were in the streets here when we pushed, when we knocked doors, when we marched, when we sang, when we defended each other and defended our democracy, right? Against the one that they say now, oh, if you're focused on Palestine, you must want Trump to win. Say it to my face. You know what I mean? Because all of you were out here with me. I know you were. You were all out here with me. When the last time that clown rolled through, we showed him what was what, right? But I hate to say it, he's not the only clown participating in this election. If he thinks, or if any of them think that they can get ahead or that they can win without us, right? We stand stand with hundreds of thousands of people who are mobilizing for Gaza, who are mobilizing for Palestine, because we recognize that Palestine is freeing us, right? And that those resources that are being spent to harm our comrades and our beloveds in Gaza need to be spent here in our own communities. It's not a single issue. We're not single issue voters, because we know that when we protect Palestine, we're protecting kids in Philly and elders in Philly, school teachers and nurses in Philly, our public service workers in Philly, sanitation workers in Philly. Our crumbling infrastructure here deserves that attention. We don't need to be raising buildings and streets in Gaza when we've got to be repairing our own, yes? And we don't need any of our, the police that are out here right now, we don't need any more of them to be Israeli trained. And that's all I'll say to that. We've got a bunch of speakers that are here for you. But we're going to continue to rally our energy for Gaza, for Palestine, for each and every one of us here in the U.S., in the heart of the empire. We know that our heart, the heart of the people, is with Palestine. Yes? And to move forward in this election, if Democrats want to have any form of victory, they got to know the path to victory is with us and through us. Yes? With us, for us, through us. I'm not the only one who's gassed to talk to you today. I'm not the only one who's hyped to be in these streets, to recharge our energy and maintain our focus, right? To keep our eyes on the prize, yes? You're going to hear from a handful of other folks, and then we're going to get ready to move. Y'all ready to move? I know you are. I know you are. But first, we gotta get this microphone. I gotta get off the microphone. And we gotta get Rev Naomi to the microphone. Are y'all ready for Rev Naomi? Make some noise. Turn up. Turn up. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine.
My name is Reverend Naomi, and I'm so honored to be here today. I'm so proud to be part of the National Core Leadership Team of Christians for a Free Palestine. Christians for a Free Palestine is an ecumenical, nonviolent, multiracial, grassroots, volunteer-led community of people who are committed to using public action to challenge and confront Christian Zionism. We do this because we know that Christian Zionists are the backbone of U.S. support of Israel. This is what we know. We know this to be true. And I'm here to acknowledge today that Christianity has a power problem. Let me say that again. Christianity, and I say that rolled up, collared up, Christianity has a power problem. Christianity has a power problem because Christian Zionists have long used the name of God to baptize the bombs that the U.S. sends to Israel. Christianity has a power problem, I said. Christianity has a power problem because Christian Zionists have abused Christian scripture to spread vile lies about Palestinians and about Islam. Christianity has a power problem. Christianity has a power problem because Christian Zionists have abused the generosity of people like you and me to subsidize Israeli apartheid. Christianity has a power problem, y'all. And I am here just dropping by to declare no more, not in God's name, and not in my name. Not in God's name, and not in my name. See, it took me a long time to realize that I had been taught to believe that God's methodology is violence. That's what I was taught about God. It took me a long time to understand that I had been taught to believe that we can cover violence in holy talk. We can baptize our weapons in sanctification. It took a long time for me to reject and resist this, but we must reject and resist all attempts to use the name of God like this. Just the other day, I was in Washington, D.C. with a bunch of my comrades, and we were showing up to disrupt the gathering of Christians United for Israel. Shame, shame, shame. Christians United for Israel is the largest lobby for Israel in the United States. Don't believe what you heard. Christianity has a power problem. And so ahead of the Democratic National Convention, we reject this marriage of convenience that Christian Zionists have with the Democratic Party. No more. We are separating this unholy matrimony today. Not in my name and not in God's name. No more money for genocide. No more weapons for genocide. Now, I say this last thing before I leave the mic. I want to say something to those of you who are gathered today, those of you who have been fighting for almost a year, saying not another bomb, not another nickel, not another dime. One of my favorite spiritual muses is the late, great Octavia Butler. And Butler wrote, "There is no end to what a living world will demand of you." This world has demanded so much of you and I. Demanded us to forego rest and leisure and comfort and indifference and safety for the sake of justice, for the sake of freedom. And in this fight against genocide, in this fight for the full freedom of the Palestinian people, you've probably given up belonging. Belonging in many spaces, in many conversations, in many relationships. How many people are willing to give up belonging? You have surrendered to a call that is beyond you. You've given yourself over to work that you feel obligated to. And I want you to know, by your commitment to holding this nation accountable, a nation that often mocks and ignores and abuses protesters and dissenters, even when what we need the most is protesters and dissenters. I want you to know that you are a delight in God's eyes. You are a delight in God's eyes. Don't get weary in your well-doing because your work is not in vain. I just wanted to tell you that today. Though we are afflicted in every way, we are not crushed. We are perplexed, but we are not driven to despair. We are persecuted, but we are not forsaken. We are struck down, but we are not destroyed. These lives will not last forever. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
When Rev Naomi speaks to belonging, to leaving communities or losing friendships, right, what we have walked away from, we know that what we have walked into is another beloved community, right? A profound and powerful coalition of people who are standing up on the side of freedom and liberty and love and dignity, sustainability, true sustainability, and a future that all of us belong to. So give it up again for that beautiful message. Yes? And give it up again for the powerful coalition that has come together today and that has come together over the past 10 months, over the past 75 years in the interest of freeing Palestine, right? 30 plus organizations, 30 and counting, in Philly alone, are here today, have gotten together and had countless meetings, have decided it's like, hey, we don't have to be perfectly unified to be powerful together. Because the place where we overlap is actually where we have the most power, right? The kind of power that crushes violence, right? The kind of power that crushes genocide. The kind of power that helps us choose each other and build the world that we want. It is unstoppable. And it makes powerful, powerful, powerful moves. Here in Philadelphia, we know, and the Democratic Party in Philadelphia knows, that the organizing of the communities in our relationships organize us in the interest of the world that we want to build, right? And some of our incredible leadership from this community that have been in the streets with us and stay in the streets with us are also caping for us inside these elected seats of power, right? And so I'm really honored to introduce a beloved comrade who's out here in action at all times, right? but doing the best that he can to make all the room that is necessary, the broadest runway for all the powerful work that happens in the streets to reach all the way up to every seat of power so that what they're doing reflects what we deserve and what we're demanding. And that's Councilmember Nick O'Rourke. Give it up for Nick O'Rourke, y'all.
Who's got the power? We got the power. What's that power? People power. Sir, who's got the power? We got the power. What's that power? People power. Sir, who's got the power? We got the power. What's that power? People power. I said, what's that power? People power. I said, what's that power? People power. If you believe you have the power, why don't you make some noise like you got power? Sam said, it's this power that we see out here that actually changes things. It's the actual intersection of all of our movements, all of our issues, all of our coalition coming together saying, not another nickel, not another dime, no more money for genocide. Do y'all see how easy that is to say? Not another nickel, not one more dime, no more money for genocide. When Joe Biden announced over, I think there, on the boulevard, on the parkway, that he was going to run for president. Y'all remember that? It was interesting times. Do I have a witness? When he was over there, I remember that he articulated that he had a desire to save the soul of the nation. I think that's the language that he used. Everybody else remember that? He said, we have a desire to save the soul of the nation. While Joe Biden, I'm not the only one out here, wasn't my preferred candidate. Do I have a witness out here today? I will say that I didn't really resonate with much during that cycle, but I did resonate with the need for soul level corrective in the heart of the American people. That there would be a soul, my mentor now gone, he's the ancestor, he would say cellular and cellular level. There needs to be a shift there amongst the American people. The yet to be United States of America, as Freddie Haynes would say, would be a nation in sin, from the selling of the soul to corporations and to billionaires. And I know I'm in good company that knows that that's true. Our soul has been sold a long time to corporations and to billionaires at the expense, mind you, of we the people. At the expense of us, this community that you see out here gathered, this coalition of interest, this people power. Oftentimes the soul of the nation is sold on our backs. And then they wonder why people ignore the real threat that is Donald John Trump. Because by all looks and images, it's hard to see the difference. Do I have a witness out here? Families are separated with Republicans in office, and families are separated with Democrats in office. I can't get no help. Bombs are dropped in Gaza and upon the oppressed people of color all over this world when Republicans are in office and when Democrats are in office. Do I have a witness out here today? Yeah. Neither party in this entrenched two-party system that we find ourselves in, caping as itself as a country, neither party is free of murder and suffering made possible with our tax dollars and with our lives. So when y'all ask me why I tried to go the hard way to join my colleague member Leader Brooks and run as an independent, some of this stuff should be self-explanatory. You understand? Because it's my tax dollars, I remember saying to Reverend Naomi, our tax dollars that end up getting spent to pay for the blessed bombs that rip babies apart. That's shame. That's sin. That is evil. Not another nickel. Not another dime. No more money for genocide. I want to live in a nation that makes that easy to say. I am going to live in a nation that sees no problem with saying that doesn't need to duck and hide, because we want to see people live and to live free. Do I have anybody out here that agrees with me that we will not stand for funding genocide? And so when I heard now President Biden make that declaration that he wanted to save the soul of the nation, I remembered that when them bombs went to dropping. I remember that all through the November of last year, December of last year, January, February, March. I remember that April, May, June. I remember that July. I remember that now. We remember that now. And we are out here saying right now that we don't want any more funding. If you want to know where the soul of the nation is, if you want to know where the moral voice of this nation is, it's out here with every single one of you who are, as Reverend Naomi said, beautiful, a delight in God's eyes today, because you are flowers of life who are proclaiming and speaking life and saying, not another nickel, not another dime, no more funding for genocide. This is where the moral voice is. This is a space that is calling on this nation to live up to what it pretends to be. What I hear in this community is a promotion of life, a call for peace. That is precisely where I believe my Jesus would be. And so that's why I'm standing right here. I'm sure of it. That's why where he would be. That's why I'm standing right there with y'all. I'm sure that we're standing on the right side of history, and we're going to continue to cry out, not another nickel, not another dime, no more funding genocide until it's backwards. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! I said free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
But again, we recognize this space as a coalition space. Again, 30 plus organizations here organizing with each other. We're also an interfaith coalition, right? Right? Because something that people have twisted, right? We're looking at the potential first BIPOC president, and something that feels really important to mention is that people are conflating Jewish safety with the perpetuation of the genocide in Palestine. That's what Zionist interest demands, right? Is that the annihilation of Palestine is the only way to secure Jewish safety, and we know better. We know that Jewish safety relies on, hinges on, depends on, is promised in the protection and the safety and the dignity of the Palestinian people. I am blessed to have a beloved community rich with hearts and minds and spirits and powers who are deeply committed because of their Jewish beliefs, because of their religion and their faith practice, because of their communities. They're that invested to the marrow and back again in a free Palestine. And our next speaker is someone who over the past 10 months, we've been arrested together, we've been brutalized together, but we have also been singing in the future where Palestine is free, without question or pause, with every breath in our body. This person's leadership has radicalized so many people into the radical love, right? And understanding that Palestine is freeing us, right? And Palestine being free is the way that the Jewish people can be free. Not only here in the United States, but all over the world, right? Their dedication to their practice, their commitment to community care, transnational community care, inspires me every day. And it's an honor and a privilege to invite them up to this stage right now to rally and galvanize each and every one of you before we march. Y'all ready to move? But are you ready to hear from Rabbi Rachel Kipnis? Kip, you ready?
Hello, all you beautiful truth seekers. I am so lucky to be here with you today. As Sam so kindly introduced me, my name is Rabbi Rachel Kipnis. I am a community member and resident of West Philadelphia. I am a proud member of the Philly chapter of Jewish Voice for Peace. Yeah, we're all here with me today. An organizer with our JVP National Rabbinic Council and a rabbi for ceasefire. Most importantly today, though, I am here representing the No Ceasefire, No Vote campaign. Humbly, I am also here as a student of the ancient rabbis of the Talmud who taught us that anyone who witnesses and is able to protest sinful conduct in our cities, in our communities, throughout the world, that person is obligated to do so in every single instance it occurs. If we do not protest that sinful conduct, it is as though we ourselves have committed that sin. All who witness immoral conduct are responsible to name it and stop it. In this spirit, we are here today to stop the U.S. sale of bombs to Israel. Bombs that we know are used to destroy life, to destroy Gaza. Bombs that continue to fall on children and families, on medical workers and journalists, on hospitals and schools. We are here today because we have a vision for the future where all life is treated as divine. Unfortunately, though, the Democratic National Convention begins tomorrow, where they are drumming up support for their candidates and promoting their version of a vision for the future. Today, right now, all over the country, voters like us are here sending this message. Support for the genocide has no place in any vision for any future. Ongoing Democratic support for this genocide will come with extremely high costs. The first cost is financial. Billions of those dollars are diverted from resources that we desperately need here in Philadelphia right now. We need it for our schools, we need it for our healthcare, for our infrastructure, and for our future. The cost is also moral, as my two colleagues said before me. There is absolutely zero calculation. One can never calculate the price for more than 40,000 lives that are already lost. 10,000 more will die if Vice President Harris and Biden and the Biden administration refuse to act right now. There's absolutely no justification for killing children ever. But if the financial cost and the moral costs are not enough, and sadly, they are not, we're here to tell the Democratic Party today, all over the nation, that the cost is also political. Your continued support of Israel's action will cost you at the ballot box. Pennsylvania voters need to see an end to arms sales now, and we need to see a permanent, ongoing ceasefire forever in Gaza. The No Ceasefire, No Vote campaign, representing many of the uncommitted primary voters who feel like I do, we're representing that there is a critical mass, a critical base of voters who cannot in good conscience vote for Vice President Harris while this genocide continues. We are the voters, and we are reminding the Democratic Party that our votes have to be earned. They're not to be manipulated. We demand that the Democratic Party can earn those votes, thousands of votes of swing state voters, by doing this. 1, securing a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. And 2, publicly committing to an arms embargo right now. This is not too much to ask. There is no such thing as too much to say. We deserve candidates who don't support genocide, period. No political calculus can justify silence in the face of these atrocities. Sur me'rav asatov bakesh shalom veratfehu. Turn away from harm and do good. Seek peace and pursue it. We raise our voices today and every single day until ceasefire to say not another bomb. Free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
We've got one more speaker who's going to meet us here on these steps and get to you all, and then we're going to take these beautiful banners that have been made for each and every one of us and for every one of our beloveds in Palestine. Right? For all the children in the United States that deserve to be free, that deserve their billions of dollars for their own work, for their own dreams, for their own communities, right? And we're going to march those all around City Hall. We're going to be making some noise. In case they haven't heard us, but this crowd is growing. So I think they know. That's right. We're going to bring our next speaker to the stage, and I need you to get as hyped as you have been for each and every other one of our speakers. Please make some noise for our Rep Madinah right now. Make some noise, y'all.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon you all. My name is Madinah Wilson-Anton, and I serve as state representative in the 26th district in Delaware, our president's home state. And today I am wearing, under my abaya, a t-shirt that has a number of Palestinians who've been murdered that is totally out of date. And when I put it on this morning, it made me very sad to think about just how quickly the death toll has risen since some of these shirts and banners have been made. I'm wearing a keffiyeh, which I received at a wedding, to remind all of you of the supreme joy that Palestinians celebrate their coming liberation at every event. That's right. I have not bought a keffiyeh. Every keffiyeh I own, every red, black, and white and green Vicar beads or remembrance beads I have is from some festive occasion where Palestinians celebrate their coming liberation, and they share that celebration with all of us. So today in solidarity, we march, we raise our voices with them. As a Muslim woman, as a black woman, one of the traditions that I was taught is that when you see an injustice, you change it with your hand. Okay. And if you cannot change it with your hand, then you use your voice to speak out against it. And if you can't do that, then you at least hate it within your heart. And we're taught that that is the weakest of faith. Today, we all do at least 3 of those things. We hate to see genocide. We use our voices to speak out against it. We march with our feet. We boycott with our dollars. We withhold our votes. In the past few weeks, we have been told that we are one-issue voters. Genocide is not one issue. It's a lie. Genocide is not one issue. We know, everyone here knows, that the issue of Palestinian liberation is not just about self-determination. It is about housing. It is about the environment. It is about reproductive justice. It is about every single value we hold dear. And so we say, the Democratic Party, we will not support candidates who do not support our values. recent data that shows that standing firm on values of humanity actually win you votes. Surprise, surprise. And so for our leaders, so-called leaders who do not lead us in moral imperatives, at least do the politically expedient thing and listen to the voices of the moral majority. I'm so excited that we are still here together, protesting, marching, using our voices, boycotting with our dollars, because when this genocide started, they said we would forget. They said we would move on. We refuse. We will always stand for justice, no matter who it's for, and no matter who is the one perpetrating it. Not another nickel, not another dime. No more money for Israel's crimes. No more money for Israel's crimes. Not another nickel, not another dime. Not another nickel, not another dime. No more money for Israel's crimes. No more money for Israel's crimes. I think we're about to march, y'all.
It's time to take the streets. Comrades, are you ready? Another bomb, not another bomb. Not another bomb, not another bomb. It's not another bomb, not another bomb. Not another bomb, not another bomb. We want justice, you say how. We want justice, you say how. Lift the siege on Gaza now. Lift the siege on Gaza now. We want justice, you say how. We want justice, you say how. People are rising, rising for Palestine's inheritance. We're fighting. Stop funding genocide. The people are rising, rising for Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Free Palestine. Cop City getting built in Atlanta and the one getting built in Pennsylvania are both targeting our communities. We know better. We know better than to pit ourselves against people across the ocean, and know rather to choose each other, to fight with and for each other until all of us are free. None of us are free until all of us are free. Say BP Harris, start our vote. This genocide has got to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on. Arms embargo, stop the war. Dems want to win, you say how. Dems want to win, you say how. End the occupation now. End the occupation now. Dems want to win, you say how. Dems want to win, you say how. End the occupation now. End the occupation now. Dems want to win, you say how. Dems want to win, you say how. Arms embargo now. Arms embargo now. Dems want to win, you say how. Dems want to win, you say how. Arms embargo now. Man, these cops could fill their flat tires with their bicycles if we kept that $100 billion to ourselves. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but what I do feel strongly about is that we cannot stop talking about Palestine. We can't stop talking about Palestine because we are not single-issue voters. We are not myopic. The only people who are myopic, who have a lethal lack of imagination, is the Democratic National Committee, because in this moment they are not doing the right thing. The DNC is suffering from a lethal lack of imagination because they think that they can win this election without all the people who in 2020, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who mobilized, grassroots organizers, cross-class, cross-race, cross-religion, intergenerationally. It's money for jobs and education. Money for jobs and education. Not for war and occupation. Not for war and occupation. Money for jobs and education. Not for war Gaza, because when I was living in western Wyoming, watching the rise of fascism bubbling up all over the country, as Donald Trump was making his way to the White House, people in Gaza showed us how to resist. When Michael Brown was murdered and the uprisings began in Ferguson, Missouri, teenagers in Palestine showed teenagers in Ferguson how to defuse tear gas canisters and how to protect themselves. Young people halfway around the globe, facing their own annihilation, paint murals of our martyrs on the apartheid wall. And so we owe them our civil, we owe them our resilience. Because when we fight with them, we are fighting for ourselves. And when we fight for ourselves, when we fight for our resources to stay in our communities, they win and we win. We only win when it's everybody for everybody. And ain't no bot on Black TikTok or Black Twitter gonna try to convince me otherwise. All right? Now the reason we stopped here, some of y'all may remember, in 2020, when Donald Trump ran for re-election and Joe Biden was the Democratic nominee, right? A great many of us formed coalitions similar to this coalition that's in these streets today. People in Philadelphia, in a swinging state, which it still is, by the way, knocked hundreds of thousands of doors, had tens of thousands of essential conversations, right? Looked into one another's eyes and said, you know what? We don't completely agree. We don't necessarily see eye to eye, but your freedom is bound to mine, and because of that, this is the floor, not the ceiling. Our work together in these streets to make sure this person doesn't get reelected is the floor, not the ceiling, right? And so some of us held our noses as we did it. I know you did. And some of you maybe did it more enthusiastically. But Philadelphia was the city where every electoral vote was being counted across the country. The whole world was watching, and it came down to us. And so we marched through the city on election day, and we stayed in the streets here at 12th and Arch, right in front of the convention center, as every single vote was counted. And we were election defenders. We protected the people inside this building with joy and art and song. We stood down and stared down MAGA terrorists. There were bomb threats happening in these streets, and we protected each other. They tried to tell us we were nothing, and we fed each other pizza. We had a 4-day dance party because we were calling in the joy of the world we knew was possible. Because when we choose each other, we are unstoppable. Our us. That's right, make some noise. We had dancing mailboxes in these streets. We had 99-year-olds and 9-year-olds and 9-month-olds all singing together. We held it down for days. We didn't sleep and we didn't care because we had chosen each other, and there was nothing to do but to win. And so, when Pennsylvania was called for Joe Biden because Philly did that, we celebrated and we said, na 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 na, na 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 na, hey, hey, goodbye. It was Philadelphia organizing and Pittsburgh organizing. It was this city, though. It was the way we chose each other that made that possible. So how are you going to say to me, how are you going to play in my face and tell me that I must want Donald Trump to win after being brutalized to keep him out of office, after resisting from 2016 until now the kind of evil that he represents? Even before that, how are you going to tell me that I must not care about working class people, that I must not care about trans people, that I must not care about immigrants, that I must care about public education or a Green New Deal? I've stayed in the streets for those things. I've stayed in the streets with you. We've been out here. And we don't leave the streets. But the thing is, we'll come together in coalition to make sure that there's enough runway for the people, the iconic leadership that we have to do what needs to be done to get us free. We'll find a way to work together. But if you stand in between me and my brother, my sibling, and their liberation, if you support the annihilation of an entire people with my tax dollars, I can't secure your path to victory for you. And the people of Philadelphia know that. distribution center, but because we fight for each other, and when we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. We know that the pressure on the Democratic Party to have Joe Biden step down came from us. They'll try to say that it came from somewhere else, but we know that the uncommitted movement and no ceasefire, no vote was that pressure. And it has to continue, because we didn't just want another nominee. I don't care about the coconut tree. I don't care if you're wearing a camo hat. I want leadership that understands our love for Gaza and our love for ourselves means arms embargo now. I want leadership that really understands that because I love young people in Philadelphia, because I love children in Philadelphia, because I love elders in Philadelphia, because I love our park system and our libraries and our schools and our hospitals, because I believe in the future of Philly, I believe in the future of Palestine. They're bound to one another, and we gotta fight for one another knowing that's true, and we need to make sure that anybody who's trying to get our support recognizes what needs to be done. We're not asking you to bend over backwards, baby. We are coming for what we are owed. This is back pay. This is back pay for 2020. And it's back pay for 2016 for that matter. The path to victory is clear. It's laid out for you. Democrats, you can see it. All you have to do is do the right thing. And Philadelphia, the baddest, bravest, strongest, scrappiest, finest ass, most courageous city in this country, is ready to go to bat if you do the right thing. But you gotta do the right thing. Because we don't come out here and dance our asses off. We don't come out here and feed each other in the interest of someone who's gonna support a genocide. That's not what it looks like. That's all we gotta say about that. Dems wanna win, you say how? Dems wanna win, you say how? Arms embargo now. Arms embargo now. You gotta earn my vote. You say how? Earn my vote. You say how? Lift the siege on Gaza now. Lift the siege on Gaza now. You wanna earn my vote? You say how? Earn my vote. You say how? Arms embargo now. Arms embargo now. Arms embargo now. Arms embargo now. And here in Philadelphia, where we have been, we stay asking for the resources that we create to be returned to our communities. It's simple, as Nickel Work said, not another nickel. Not another dime. Not another dime. No more money. No more money. For genocide. For genocide. Did I stutter? No. We are so lucky to have each other. We are so lucky in this city to have a beloved community that looks to each other and says, in spite of our differences, but because of our differences, we can figure out how to fight with and for each other because we're all we've got. And that's the way that this election could be won, is by following the lead of the community like this in Philly and communities all over the country who are saying, not another bomb. I'm gonna bring up a beloved community member who's a healthcare worker, who's a community organizer, whose radical leadership has opened my heart and mind in so many ways, and who stayed in these streets when Moms for Liberty thought that they could come to the history of the American Revolution Museum, boo, to the Marriott, boo, hope you like them bed bugs. As workers inside that space, got into some hijinks with us. Our beloved comrade Dom was out in these streets keeping people hyped, keeping people energized, keeping people's eyes on the prize of protecting all of us and making sure that all of us know that none of us are disposable and it's everybody for everybody. I need you to give it up for my comrade, a public servant, an organizer, an activist, and a heart that we, may we endeavor to deserve. Dom.
So look, the ongoing struggle for liberation brought us right back here, where just last year, a little bit over a year ago, we protested for 4 straight days against that fascist group known as Moms for Liberty, otherwise known as Moms for Hate, otherwise known as the Planned Parenthood. But for some odd reason, they decided to hold some sort of conference in our city right over there.
Fuck that shit, sorry.
But Philly knows a thing or two about fighting fascism. You can research this city's struggle against Frank Rizzo and his police department. Everybody knows about him. in just a few years, maybe a year, before our Moms for Liberty protest, who remembers those Patriot Front freaks came to our town, were walking around, chanting racist chants for some odd reason, probably because they got some sort of insecurity they're compensating for. And what did Philadelphians do? We quite literally chased them back to their clown car and told them, see you later. Get the fuck out. So of course when those hateful, bigoted ladies came to our city, we made their time very, very uncomfortable. That's right. Very uncomfortable. And get this, the Lehigh Valley chapter, the suburb right outside of Philly, they once had over 200 members. They got 3 now. That's right. And I'm not taking 100% credit for that, but I am taking some. I'm taking some. But listen, over the course of the last 4 years, in the 2020 general and in the 2022 midterm, what did Philly do? In 2020, we turned out and saved our country from fascism by blocking a second Trump term. And in 2022, we saved our state by blocking that fascist anti-Semite, Doug Mastriano, that loser, from becoming our governor. And we won't speak about Shapiro. We won't talk about him. Keep that man's name out your mouth. Exactly, don't talk about him. We don't, not Beetlejuice. We don't want to, we're not conjuring him. So if you think those GOP fascists and their dog don't got a chip on their shoulder about us for bailing out those sorry-ass Democrats, you gotta think again. You gotta think again, you gotta think twice. Because if the GOP wins the presidency, they're gonna implement their racist, queerphobic, anti-worker, bigoted Project 2025 scheme, and in an instant, those Moms for Liberty and Patriot Front freaks are gonna come crawling out of the woodwork to disrupt us, to destabilize us, and to demobilize our movement. So Democrats, if you want us to bail you out again, we're gonna need something in return. We're gonna need something in return. But look, the only way we get something in return, the only way we make our voices heard is for the multiracial, multi-ethnic working class to be united and organized. Because organized struggle is the only language the ruling class understands. It's the only language they speak. And what I mean by this is, in a city like Philadelphia, we absolutely cannot let bad faith actors exploit the divisions between black folks and the Palestinians and the Palestinian movement. We can't. Because the bond between Jewish folks and black folks, the bond between Palestinians and black folks and Jewish folks and Palestinians is a sacred bond. It's a sacred bond because it was forged in decades of struggle. It was forged in decades of struggle. Because when no one else had us, we had us. When no one else had black folks, Jews and Palestinians had black folks. That's the goddamn truth. Because when we're divided and we're not organized, and when we're not organized, the ruling class, not only do they win, but they laugh in our face. They laugh in our face. So if Kamala knows what's good for her and knows what's good for her campaign, she's paying attention to what's going on right here, right now on this street. She's paying attention because, like I said, Philly's been bailing them out for years now. For years. So let me speak directly to her. Okay? Philadelphia is a fighting city. Philadelphia is a fighting city, and Philadelphians are a fighting people. And Philly will never, ever, so help me God, we'll never succumb to the fascist threat. And we will block fascism because we got our community to protect. We got our city to protect. We got our aunties, our uncles, our moms, our dads, and our cousins, and our neighbors, and everyone in our community. We got to protect them. But Kamala, here's what you need to do for us in return. Number 1, use your influence to pressure lame duck Joe Biden to get an immediate ceasefire deal. And if Bibi Netanyahu don't want to play ball, that disgrace to Philadelphia, he don't want to play ball, here's what you do, number 2. On day 1 of your presidency, not another day after, on day 1 of your presidency, you negotiate an immediate ceasefire deal and continue the arms embargo. That's number 2. And here's number 3, the most important one. You've got to work towards the end of the occupation of Palestine. The immediate end of the occupation of Palestine. So Jews, Muslims, and Christians can live peacefully and democratically in a holy land. An immediate end to the occupation of Palestine. These are our demands. This is our struggle. And we will not rest. We will keep on fighting until we get it. Because Philadelphia is a fighting city. Forge to victory. Free Palestine. Go Birds. Thank you.
you on? Which side are you on? Right here, stop. Which side are you on? 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 Now we're gonna put those together. We've got these incredible drummers back there. They're gonna keep us moving, right? Because we can't afford to slow down. We gotta keep it up. Bop, bop, bop. Which side are you on? Come on. Which side are you on? We're on the freedom side. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Again, which side? Which side? Which side are you on? We're on the freedom side. Which side are you on? Hands up. Which side are you on? Which side? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Come on! Which side are you on? My people! Which side are you on? We're on the freedom side! Which side are you on? My people! Which side are you on? We're on the freedom side! Which side are you on? My people! Which side